Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Cotter. I am a Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran, a science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd, and tonight I am going to be breaking down a question of faith from the Hammer and Bolter series. We'll be pausing intermittently in order to inject lore and knowledge both of the real world and this universe. So, if you're down for that adventure, come along for the ride. Let's begin.
What are you doing?
My duty. The candles must be lit for night prayers.
I believe you will be forgiven for not attending your duties this day.
I have lit these candles every day for over 30 years. This is the tomb of a saint. We must be saintly in our undertakings.
Tell me again the story of our martyr.
It's all here. Her glory surrounds us. This chapel is where the martyr Saint Josephine made her last stand. Cornered by the foul beasts of the abyss, she was weary and with little hope. Yet Josephine knew that if she could not stem the tide of the creatures then and there, the entire convent would be overrun. And so, in her final moments, as the beast stole the last of her breath, she called on the Emperor to guide her hand. And the Emperor answered her call. In the ages that have followed, she has risen again to protect the convent in its most dire times of need, inhabiting the form of true martyrs to fight their cause and smite the enemies of the faith. And so it shall ever be. Until she shows herself once more, I will keep the candles burning to light her way.
Beautiful. I love it. I love all of it. I'm gonna save it's the same thing I've been saying the entire time. The animation is a little bit janky. The lore is solid. The lore is solid. If anything, I am frustrated that I cannot have more. I am frustrated that they did not invest more heavily. But hey, listen, it's okay. We're here for the lore. We're here for the violence. Let's get into it. So, this is an Ecclesial Shrine, okay? The church is a important institution in the Warhammer 40,000 universe and is one of the pillars of the Imperium of Man. It used to be, during the Great Crusade, that the Emperor of Mankind was purging all religious structures. But in the Encountering of Chaos and the creatures of the warp who definitely look like what we understand to be demons and devils of our current world, in their world are aliens who inhabit another plane of existence that feeds off of the emotions and the sentiments of living creatures in our plane of reality. That's kind of the way that it breaks down. But, you know, talk to a religious person. They're devils and demons and gods, okay? And even refer to themselves as such because they're eternal forces. That's kind of the concept of a god, right? So, you know, there's the Sisters of Battle painting, fighting the Khorne Berserkers. All of her deeds from St. Josephine are painted on the walls. We get a few, you know, little action snippets that she will inhabit the bodies of martyrs. Well, what's happened is during the Horus Heresy, the Emperor of Mankind, who was the psychic being who was trying to, unite imperial humanity into a galactic human empire that would starve the gods of chaos of their power and create a golden kingdom. What ended up happening was he was mortally wounded, and he was stuck into a chair to be the psychic beacon that guides humanity through the stars while still decaying and collapsing as a corrupt empire. In order to maintain his power, or in order for others to maintain his power, the Imperium of Man adopted the religiosity that the Emperor of Mankind was originally trying to eliminate. And as a result, those who worship the Emperor actually feed him power. And because they feed him power, he can in turn grant power to some of his supplicants who do take the form of martyrs. Now, there's space marines like for instance, like the Sanguinor. The Sanguinor is probably a psychic remnant of Sanguinius after he died, so he will show up to battlefields. There's, I'm trying to think of the other ones. God, why can't I think of them? But basically, there are revenants. There are ghosts and demons of the Imperium of Man, which are probably the psychic aftershocks of those who have died in the name of the Imperium. But it's also the Emperor selecting his champions to intervene in human affairs to postpone to prolong the life of the Imperium as it fights its great battles. So, Saint Josephine, to these people, is a religious martyr who does miracles in the Emperor's name and is empowered by the God Emperor of Mankind. To the God Emperor of Mankind, Saint Josephine is probably a tool to prolong the Imperium of Man as it is slowly degraded by forces that attack it. Either way, pretty dope.
And what of you? When your work here is finished, what shall you do?
Finished? I should like to make a pilgrimage to Antioch, the birthplace of our order. They have great libraries there, so tall they scrape the sky, so full of knowledge that it would take 1,000 lifetimes or more to appreciate.
How do you know? Have you seen them?
No, I always hoped to. I've read of them in the archives of the convent. I even spoke to Sister Georgia, who once made the pilgrimage herself.
And she affirmed the tales?
She said the sight of those halls was worthy of even the Emperor's eyes. Just the thought of it brings a tear to my eye, Agatha. I can almost imagine it.
The time will come. You shall walk those halls.
How can you know?
I have faith.
And you? What shall you do?
I shall see to my duties.
You have given your life to this place.
No, sister. This place has given me a life.
Final duties?
We are in St. Josephine's hands now. She is with us.
Calm demands we look our enemies in the eye as we cut them down. Roar!
All right, before we get into the violence, while they're talking, we do hear the servo whirs of power armor. Sisters of Battle are unaugmented and mildly augmented to the same degree as normal human beings, humans in power armor. they do have higher degrees of weaponry and armor that are gifted to them, but they're not quite as powerful as Space Marines because Space Marines go through the whole gene enhancement process, whereas Sisters of Battle are able to basically get power armor and get augments to use their power armor. And obviously they go through brutal physical and mental conditioning, but they're not Space Marines. They're on the tabletop. They're strength 3, toughness 3, right? So what will you do when your duties are done? I will make a pilgrimage to Antioch. Well, in Christianity, a real holy city is Antioch. And so we do see, while they're talking, dead sisters and cultists. What will you do? I will see to my duties. You've given your life to this place. No, it's given me life. And so she's planning to live and die with this place and does have faith in St. Josephine and the martyrdom. It's easy in the Warhammer 40k universe where billions die routinely and so many prayers go unanswered to not have faith. It's very easy. As a matter of fact, if anything, it's easier to have faith in the forces that torment you because they seem visible. The Cornate cultists. Excuse me. The Cornate cultists, the Slaneshi cultists, the people who worship the dark gods. They're able to appeal to the general terribleness of the universe, and they say, look at what the dark gods have given me. What has the Imperium of Man given you besides duty and servitude and premature death and fighting things that you don't understand and praying for things that never come? That's how they're able to attract cultists. So those who are faithful can receive boons from the Emperor, but they are incredibly rare. And when we're talking about the space of time and how many worlds die, it's very rare that you'll see a blessing or a miracle, which is why it's amazing when it does happen. I love the character design of the Cornate cultists. I love them. Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Skull Throne. I'm so excited. And then the animation style, once again, Games Workshop. What the hell? You took awesome drawings and then you jiggled them up and down. You're paying these people to animate. Give them a budget so they can animate the cool characters that they drew. I'm refraining from using profanity, so hopefully I can monetize the video. But why? Good God. We're here. We're paying $6 a month. We pay 80%, 90% over the cost that it takes to produce your little tiny plastic men, and we play the games. Reward us with lore and death and glory. What is this? Anyways, minus the frustratingly underwhelming animations, it is cool that Khorne cares not where the blood flows, but he demands that you look your enemy in the eye. Meaning that this cultist, while not totally accurate, Khorne berserkers do use firearms on occasion. They prefer melee combat. They prefer up close, deadly, and bloody. So, literally kills one of his own cultists because he's being a punk by bringing a firearm. We deserve melee. And as a result, they're putting themselves at a disadvantage going up against the Sisters of Battle because the Sisters of Battle have no such... I mean, they're good at melee, but they don't have any inclination to fight fair. Let's put it that way. Let's get into the blood.
his saints. For the Order and our lost.
Sisters, be with Saint Josephine, be with me. Emperor, be with me.
Thank you. My faith has been rewarded.
Still your duty.
Still my faith.
And so we are blessed with a moment's respite. I might yet walk in the libraries of Antioch after all.
All right, let's break it down a little bit. So, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. I know I already went over this a little bit, but this is the prayer of the Cornate Berserkers. Korn being the god of blood and the god of rage. So very, very easy person to find worshippers of in the 40,000, the Warhammer 40,000 universe. So the sisters are covering the approaches with steely-eyed determination. This is a holy place. They do not have the tactical ability to go down to a place that is only of one avenue of approach, but this would be my recommendation for those of you who are, designing medieval battlements. Try to limit your avenues of approach. That way your enemy can only approach from one direction, and therefore it's easily defensible. Bolter rounds, the Sisters of Battle do have access to bolters. Bolters are deemed a higher quality of weapon and are kind of issued to the Imperium of Man's elite troops, whether that's Space Marines, Sisters of Battle, or the occasional Imperial Guard who will be issued with a bolt pistol, or if they're a command staff, a bolter. But they fire gyro jet delayed explosive grenade munitions, meaning that once they make contact, they'll burrow in a little bit and then explode, tearing their enemies apart. This makes them good against light armor, heavy infantry, light infantry, and pretty much anything that isn't like a tank or a giant tyrannid bug can be ripped apart by bolter fire. So it is pretty powerful. The bolter malfunctions, that's unfortunate. And honestly, I think they probably should have just had her go dry on a magazine rather than the bolter malfunctioning, because bolters, particularly bolters for the Sisters of Battle and the Space Marines, are supposed to be manufactured with the utmost of quality. But what I like about this is the power armor is punchy and crunchy, and the Sisters are able to move with grace and speed, and as such are able to cut down their foes easily, including the a female Cornate cultist who is used as a shield and then blasted apart while she's being literally used as a human shield against any incoming ballistic fire. I didn't see any incoming ballistic fire, but you could still use her corpse as cover, which this sister who's currently on screen did. And then once that cultist was so blown apart, she cast aside the half torso because there was no weight to it because she'd already blasted it apart. Also, the sister with the habit, the headpiece, she was literally, because she's wearing power armor, she was actually able to snap a human neck single-handed because of her mechanical augmentation through her power armor. Pretty cool. And you never want to be more than a hand's breadth away from your weapons, but, they've acquitted themselves well so far, and it's been pretty cool to watch. So, again, imagine how much better it would be if we were getting more than a frame a second, Games Workshop. Anyways, moving on.
I believe you shall. Soon, our sisters will arrive to lend us their strength. Soon, this shrine shall be returned to peace and solitude. blessed.
No! Sisters, be with me.
Come, accept your skull.
Sister Josephine, where are you?
Be still, child. I am here. I am with you, Elena. But now is not your time.
All right, let's break it down a little bit more before we move into the last thing. So, I believe you shall see the libraries of Antioch. Korn blasts through the wall, able to punch through a guy's knee using power armor. Sweet. I love it. Agatha is the nun with the habit, with the headpiece. She's able to gut multiple berserkers, but she's ultimately felled, which does suck. But she does a good job, and as she falls, she says, I see the light, I am blessed. And then they literally just said her name, but I didn't hear it. And she continues on fighting, dumps her magazine into a bunch of berserkers, wastes them, but then also wastes a bunch of ammo, uses improvised weapons, and even is able to kill the head boss cultist by taking a sword, snapping it into his skull, after she did a very real move where she brought her opponent's arm over her shoulder and then using her power armor, snapped his arm in half. Well, hard to press the button on a nuke when your hand is broken. Thank you, Starship. Yes, that is a Starship Troopers reference. But awesome. Decent amount of violence. Would have loved a little bit more frames per second, but still enjoying it. And then now, we're wondering if the Saint, is she hallucinating? Is she dying? What's going on? Or is the Saint actually going to make an appearance and help her with the remaining cultists? Let's take a look.
Martyrs. I see the truth of it. Rise, sister. You have one more act of faith to perform. Saint Josephine is with you. Be her vessel. Be her wrath.
It is we who deliver the Emperor's mercy. And all who oppose him shall burn.
There, sister. Our duty is done.
All right, super cool. A little frustrating, still cool. So the definition of a martyr is someone who has died for their religious beliefs. As such, it was mentioned that St. Josephine possesses martyrs, which means technically you got to be dead in order to get possessed. So that's kind of like a demon, but for the imperial side. A little bit of heresy going on. But hey, it serves the emperor. It's the emperor's light. So you gotta go with it. Okay. So the sister, realizing that only a dead person can be possessed by Saint Josephine, passes a sword over to her as a relic. As a result, she does seize the opportunity and burns away the heretics. How much cooler would it have been? You remember when Anakin and Anakin Skywalker was running around just like massacring everybody and basically fought and killed everyone and just destroyed them absolutely because his lightsaber skills were off the charts. Could you also imagine a similarly well coordinated sword fight, but actually based off of like medieval tactics and actual medieval sword play that did take into account reality, power armor, traditional medieval style fighting, but then also giving us the blood and guts that we want? Could you imagine how cool that would be? I can. And that's why this episode doesn't feel like something satisfactory in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. It feels like a titillation. It feels like you're teasing me. It feels like you're not giving me what I want, which is gory, bloody, disgusting, horrific violence committed by nuns with guns, a.k.a. bolter bitches, a.k.a. the Sisters of Battle. Unfortunate, still fun to see, the things that we got to see, but unfortunate that we couldn't see them in the ways that we wish to see them. So, you might be similarly frustrated to me, but at least we got to see our favorite Sisters of Battle, our favorite females in the 40K universe doing dirt and destroying some chaos cultists. Pretty fun. If you did enjoy this, if you want to check out the other stuff, we have plenty more breakdowns in the Warhammer 40K, both fan-made and official, in the Warhammer playlist. Go ahead and check them out. You can get my commentary, see them all, have fun in the playlist. If you like politics, I identify as centrist or center-right. I am a classic liberal or a Burkean conservative, and I like debating and yelling at people. So, if you enjoy that, check that out as well. If you want to check out other media breakdowns, I have broken down previous films such as Full Metal Jacket, End of Watch, and Fury, and am currently releasing Aliens. So, if any of that interests you, please check it out. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Once again, my name is Connor, science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd, Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran. Join the channel, enjoy, like, share, subscribe, comment for the comment gods. Catch you in the next one.